right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to my inside of my head, I guess. My name is Eric Hackler. I am a photographer, cinematographer, writer, director, fight choreographer, and editor. And today we're going to do a photo stream, which will be fun. We're going to be looking at some photos that I've took in North Carolina, down at the beach. We're going to do some nighttime shots. We got some daytime shots. This is, if you were following me on YouTube, this is more from the shoot where my last camera got destroyed, so it has that kind of melancholy beauty to it. At least the last photo does. The rest of them, whatever. No, the rest of them are good too. But yeah, so we're doing a photo stream, which is great. And big news, for the first time since I am back on Twitch, this is unprecedented. I'm wearing a different shirt. I didn't realize I was wearing the same shirt the last two streams. So yes, today we've mixed it up. We're in a darker color now. But yeah, so welcome, and we'll be getting started in a second. I just want to say real quick that the reason that I do this is a couple things. The main one being that post-processing of photography, film as well, which is, so if you're interested in editing and the post-production process on film, check out my other live streams. I'm doing one tomorrow actually to do some film editing, but the post-processing of photography is such a huge part of photographic work in the current day and age. And I mean, it's been a huge part of it going long before we had digital cameras. But it's a part that's not very talked about. And if it is talked about, it's behind a paywall, where you will get you'll get people who will have no problem showing you their camera settings and the location and their composition, but when it comes to the editing, they're always like, all right, so I took this photo and then boom, here's the edited version. It's like, there's a ton of work that goes into that we don't talk about and we don't get to show, and that makes a huge difference. And so I want to share that as freely and openly as I can. And along with that, I would like to, I have a very small platform, but I would like to use it to elevate other talented people. So if you were a creator, if you make art in some way, please, by all means, feel free to drop a link in the chat, or if you're watching this later on YouTube, drop a link in the in the comments. I would love to see your work. I'd love you to share your work. I'd love for anyone else who watches this to stumble upon your work and find out how awesome you are. So that's what this is. I want to share the stuff that I know, and I want you to share the cool stuff that you do. So with that all said, I'm going to jump into Lightroom. I believe it's this button. It is. I got it right. Okay, cool. It's funny. I programmed the buttons, and I know which button it is, and I still forget. Yeah. So we're in Adobe Lightroom. If you edit in Photoshop, if you're using Photoshop as your, I'm not sure this is the photo I'm going to edit, but this is the one I clicked on because I thought it looked cool here, and that one's actually pretty good. It's a little bit fuzzy, but we'll check that. But yeah, if you're editing in Photoshop, cool. Most of the settings that I'm going to be playing with here are available in Camera Raw. And one of the things I always try to stress is that the work that I do here, the editing and it's more about the decision-making process and using the tools you have rather than having the fanciest toys. So hopefully the stuff that I'm doing translates. And if you have specific Lightroom or Photoshop questions, by all means, feel free to drop them in the conversation, and I will happily try to answer them as best I can. Let's take a look. This is the obviously full moon. This is a strawberry moon, which is funny because it's more of an orangey color. But phone is going on vibrate. Please hold. Let's see. All right. All I saw was the beginning of this message that I got, and it starts with, okay, hear me out, and that's usually a good sign. I'm looking forward to reading that. Okay, so let's warm up with this moon shot. Let's work on the first one. The first one I think is the one I want to work on. Let's start with this. It's a little fuzzy, but I think we can fix that. So, yeah, strawberry moon. I can up the texture here, but I think, let's see. Notice how when we do that, we get more texture in the moon, which is great, but we get a lot of noise in the area around it, and we're gonna fix that in a minute. Dehazing. de-aging is actually a pretty good, actually looks pretty cool. It's pulling the moon out from the background a little bit, which I kind of like. Something I liked about this photo is it reminded me of the, you know, when you see like spray paint artists doing planets and stuff. Reminded me a little bit of that, which is, I guess, we're all on the same page then. Poet Trouble, I can actually answer that question. Give me 1 second. I do have a list. I do have a list of these. When I teach beginners photography, I always like to have a list of, if you're not using a fancy camera, what apps you can use if you want to do it on your phone. Okay. And if anyone is interested, I can make this document available or make this list available. But if you're on a, so let's see. So there is an Adobe Photoshop free for phones. You can get that. There's also one called Snapseed, which is also free, and that's for Android or iPhone. If you're on an iPhone, there's one called Camera Plus 2, which I think it's Camera Plus. I think it's the sequel to Camera Plus, so Camera Plus 2. That's free. There's also one called Moment Pro Camera, which is $7, and that, or last time I checked, and that one is a little more pro. And then yeah, there's also, if you're on Android, there's something called ProShot. There's and there's Manual Camera, and that one's got a free version with ads. So check out those if you're looking for you know, better ways to control your camera and do some editing there. All right, let's see what we can do with this. This is a little bit noisy. We're gonna fix that, but let's see. I'm going to do that mostly with the color sliders. Not much as much else I want to do with this. It's just as is. I want to keep the color there because the color's cool. I want to bring up the blues, and we're going to do that in a minute. Let's go ahead and quickly do this masking because I need to do something. I need to do that. If I tell it to select the subject, let's see if it can just give me that perfect circle. We're drinking peach punch today. Magnificent. Perfect selection. Okay, we'll do that, and we'll duplicate and invert. Which I'm going to see if I can call this ahead of time. Maybe I can prevent people from doing it. Excuse me. I feel like if my partners were going to construct a drinking game around the things I say on stream, duplicate and invert would be one of them. Would be one of the things. Okay. So I'm going to bring the texture down. We're going to bring the clarity down a bit. I want to soften that a bit. I like the. Do I though? No, I take it back. I kind of like. I like a little more of the detail in there. We're gonna bring the denoise up. Bring the sharpness down. Yeah, let's bring the sharpness down. I'm not gonna bring the clarity up even a little bit more. That's looking good. I'm debating if I want to crop this. Cool. Let's come back to our moon. That's it. Not a whole lot I want to do here. So already kind of I can bring the clarity up a little more, and that actually kind of gives you a little more detail in it. Let's put this back. A little more texture is not bad. It's gonna be a little bit noisy in there, but that doesn't bother me too much. If I can denoise it, but that's gonna soften it. But I'm gonna do a little bit of denoising, just kind of split the difference there. But yeah, I can live with that. That actually looks pretty good from this perspective here. I'm gonna put that back. Let's see. Oh, there you go. AfterCut bingo. That'd be fun. If more people are interested in that, let me know. I will. I might actually try to put some. I might actually put a bingo card together. Or if you guys make the bingo card, I'll send it to me. I'll make it available for anybody. Okay, now we're gonna bring these shadows up because I want this detail, but I don't want to have too many dark patches in there. The blacks up even a little bit more, and the highlights down a little bit because I want to keep that detail and texture because I do really like that. There you go. Actually, it's weird to say I kind of want low contrast here. I don't want low color, but I want low contrast. Okay. You had a bingo card maker? I love that. That in hindsight, that's exactly. If such a thing existed, you'd be the one to have it, Shelby Lynn. I completely approve. All right, let's play with color a little bit. Actually, hang on a sec. There's one other thing I want to do. Go back to our masks of the outside. I'm going to bring the saturation up around it. I want to do that. Okay. Now we're going to go back down to our color sliders here. And nope, give me my panel. Our color sliders, and we're going to adjust some details. And the first thing I want to do is I want to push blue a a little more toward aqua, just like that. And now we got some fringing on the edges, so we're gonna smooth that out a bit. Let's see what the best way to do that is. I'm gonna keep working on this. Yeah, definitely want to do is bring the blues up. Bring the aquas up because they're going to be being useful. Pinks, yeah, we can bring them up a little. We're just going to be brightening all the colors that aren't really on the moon for the most part. Okay, that can use some more color to it. Actually, red's kind of the one to... Yeah, that little glow around the edge is actually making me really happy. I'm going to leave that where it is. Bring the orange up a little bit because I want to get that a little more of that glow. And if you're watching, though, you can see if I turn the red all the way up, you get this line. You get this really harsh line where the colors are kind of clashing against each other, and we can't make sense of it. I'm going to kind of go right up into that line and then pull back a bit. Some of it's more sensitive. Oh no, I'm a huge fan of Irish breakfast tea. This is, if you're watching the stream without seeing the live chat, I apologize. It sounds like I'm completely gibbering, but then again, I feel like I'm completely gibbering most of the time, so it strikes a balance. But can I push this a little more that way? Nah, really. Okay, new plan. I got an idea for this. But yeah, if you're watching this without seeing the live chat, it sounds like I'm going completely on different tangents. But arguably I am. And I would, but yeah, no, Shelby Irish breakfast tea is like, for a tea that was designed to be stronger than the British version, it's delicious. Yeah, we can do a version of that. Give me a second. I want to do one more thing with masking. I want to do a radial gradient. So we're gonna do a circle. This can actually be a full circle because so we're working on the moon here. I'm gonna make this bigger and do it like that. I'm actually gonna let it go a little wider because I want this to almost be a vignette. Cool. Now we're gonna invert it. Bring the feathering down so it's a little bit like that. And now I'm going to shift the color a bit more toward green. Again, looking for that fringe. Let me see this overlay. I might just have to live with the fact that sky is going to be blue. Yep, we're going to do that. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm happy with that. Let's crop this. So a quick crop on it. Not that I want to do too much. I'm actually going to use the grid here just for a second because I want to get the moon right in the center. I'm going to come down here like that. Cool. Nice and easy, just cleaning that up. And yeah, that one looks pretty good. We'll have some stars around it, but we don't. That's okay. That'd be a Photoshop thing if I wanted to do that. All right, let's go ahead and set my rating to 3. And now I'm going to do a quick duplicate and create a virtual copy, which for those of you wondering, the keyboard shortcut for that is Control or Command and then apostrophe. And this is at Shelby Lynn's request. We're going to take the moon and we're going to see if we can turn it green. There we go. Can also adjust. So there's 2 ways to do this, actually. This gives me a chance to talk about this. So I can do it like this, where the moon appears to be mint. And of course I'm gonna, if I darken it up, now it's got some black spots back and it's mint chocolate chip. So we can do it like that. The other way we can do it, let me go ahead and bring this back to creating the regular virtual copy, is instead of doing it with a mask, I can do it down here. I can do it here and shift everything this direction. And this way I'm getting the green moon in amongst the everything else. Now if I come down here, I can adjust my greens. Bring the greens up. Bring the aquas down again, getting a little bit of fringe. Can't believe I'm actually doing this and it actually kind of looks good. This time I want to push the blues. This is actually going to give me the halo effect, the weird effect that I wanted. This almost had this. The ripples in the sky here almost look like waves. This is Shelby Lynn. Thank you. This is a fucking cool idea. All right, greens are getting pushed a little more toward blue to get that nice, real vibrant green going on. I think the oversaturation of the green is a little bit of a problem. I like this. Let's see, purples and reds can all get reset because they're doing bugger all right now. Yellows, I can push them toward green, and that'll give us, once again, give us a little more of that green. Push the yellows up. Ooh, actually, let's pull them back because that gives us some more detail in it. This is looking cooler and cooler by the second. All right. Let's put the aquas back. I'd like to push up the blues. Not much. It's a little bit of a little smoother if I leave them alone. Push up the greens. Yeah, let's put that back. I want that where it is. Nice. Okay, let's come down here to brightness. I want that. The blues. Yeah, the blues up is actually pretty good. Greens up. Nah, greens we're going to bring down a bit. Yellows, bring them up a little bit because that gives us the contrast. We like that. Oranges, not really in play. Reds, almost definitely not in play. Magentas, nope. And purples, maybe. Nah, not enough to actually make a difference. All right, cool. And that's definitely the better way to do it, I think, in this case. And also bring up the vibrance if we want to really push that a little bit, and I do kind of like that. So cool, yeah. We got a green moon. That was actually a really cool suggestion. I actually took that in a way I wasn't expecting. Back to here real quick. I want to see if I can back to the inverted mask here, because I can brighten that up a lot without losing too much detail. And we can get some of that waviness in this, and I actually really like that. I want to lean into that. Cool. Nah, I want the clarity. The clarity is what's giving us those waves. And of course, we could do one that looks like this. That's just a thing by itself. But that's not my story. My stories are all, or at least the photos, the stories I like to tell through my photography are all about context. So this is why I love these streams. This is why I do these streams, is because it gives me a chance to experiment in, gives me a chance to experiment and to try things and get them wrong and then learn from them. Okay, now, where did my mouse go? There's my mouse. Now that we've brightened this up, we got to adjust some of our colors because now we're getting some fringing that we don't want. So now I think the reds are going to be a little bit of a, let's just reset all these for now. Okay, that orange glow I still want. Still want the orange glow. But a red fills it out nicely. A blue, yeah, let's turn the blues down again. That's overdoing the blues. That doesn't help us much. Aquas, hate to say it, they're not doing anything. And then the greens, also not really doing anything. Cool. Okay, yeah, I want to keep the brightness up because that helps cover that gap. Same deal here, and then again the aqua's not really doing much, but that looks better. We've discovered some texture in the sky there. That is creating a good version. So if we do a quick before and after, you can see that texture is there. If we zoom in, that texture is definitely still there, but now we brought it out some more, which is great. And we brought out the color. This almost, to me, I look at this and it almost looks like the moon is just, my first thought is the moon is like right over the water, and that looks amazing. So cool. All right, we've done a nighttime shot. Let's switch to the day. Actually, you know what? Hang on a second. I take it back. We're gonna stay with the nighttime for a bit, and then potentially halfway through this, we're gonna have a guest joining me, and I'll let her pick out the daytime shots. So let's do some nighttime stuff. Let's look at this. Like nighttime, evening, all kind. Yeah, this kind of. Yeah, photos I have. I edited this right. This is not out of camera. Okay, good. Whew. Scare me there. If I'm taking photos this good out of camera, jeez. Let's do another moon shot right when the moon was rising. That seems like it'd be a fun thing to do. Because I love having shots with like stuff in front of the moon with clouds in front of it. Let's do one of those. Which might be this one. I think maybe that one. Moon with a little hat. I think I like that one. Let's see if any of these. The thing about doing moonrise shots there's a couple reasons to do them. A couple reasons why moonrise and moonset are desirable, but moonrise specifically, especially in the summer, is that because when the moon is closer to the horizon, it appears bigger. So you're gonna get these shots where the moon looks huge. Even though I'm on a 600 millimeter lens right now, and this is still as big as it gets. But yeah, the moon looks big. And then the other thing is when the sky still has brightness in it, you can get moments where you've got that. Because if you compare this to this is obviously super bright, but I can bring that down. But like if I bring up the shadows, if I bring up the blacks, I bring a lot of things to get that color in the sky. When I do that, the moon is now blown out, and I can't really get a good balance on it yet. Let's put this back. I mean, even this one, yeah, this is better exposed for the moon. Actually, it's a very good exposure for the moon. Jeez, I might edit this one quickly. But you're not going to get the context. I'm going to quickly edit this one because this one just looks cool. Give me this as an 11:17. Bring it in. Let's get the placement right. Just like that. Coming in. Awesome. Okay. Highlights. Let's leave them alone for now. I think if I bring the shadows down, I'm going to get the same effect. Blacks as well. I like that little aura around it. That's pretty cool. Turn the texture up. Actually, hang on. We'll do that. All right, yeah, bringing the clarity up here I think is good because it gives us that haze, and I really like that. Let's leave the shadows where they are. I could dehaze it and go down to just that, which actually looks really, really clean. That looks really good, actually. Damn. This bothers me sometimes. Okay, second copy. Second version, just boom. Just gonna do that. I think we're kinda done. Bring the texture up. Yeah, texture up. Any texture in the black? Anything in the blackness? Not really. Okay, yep, that's done. All right, 3 stars. Back to the first one. Let's see. All right, so we're gonna dehaze a little bit. I'm gonna be able to do a lot more with this, but I want to dehaze a bit just to start pulling out texture and kind of actually. What am I doing? Hang on. Let's go the other direction. Let's go big with it. Yeah, let's do that. That's so much more interesting to me. All right, usual things. Masking. Select the subject. Give me that moon. Perfect. And let's do all together now. Duplicate and invert. Beautiful. All right, so the duplicate and invert, we are going to probably could do an inverted black and white. Let me work on that. Give me a sec. That'll be the next thing. Cool. This is a fun way to do to edit these photos. All right, so I want the texture down, but I want the clarity up. Yo, hey, that's too bright. Let's dehaze that. This is actually, we're finding that haze. Yeah, we're finding a hole in the haze where the moon is. This is actually really cool. I'm working on the outside. It's the area around the moon, not the moon itself right now. Bring the blacks down a bit because it gives us a little more of that detail. Let's see. If I denoise this. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, there's a bit of noise. Let's denoise that, but let's also turn up the sharpness, which is definitely going to add some noise. Let's turn up the sharpness doing me any good. Let's put that back. No, not really. Okay, so we'll just denoise all the way up, and that's fine. Okay, let's come back up to here. Turn the texture up. Turn the texture all the way down. If I turn the texture up, let's put the textures kind of where it is. I bring the sharpness down. That way we get kind of get a little bit, some of those striations, which are kind of cool. All right. Highlights can stay where they are. Shadows can also kind of stay where they are. I'm cool with that. All right, let's work on the moon itself. In this case, I want to darken the blacks. Bring up the contrast. Nope, that's changing colors. Come back down here. Texture up. Clarity up. Dehaze. Yeah, let's get some darkness in there. Stop getting rid of my panel, Lightroom. I like that. I like my panel. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, of course we're clipping the blacks there, but not clipping the whites, which is good. I like this. I like that little halo we found around the moon. I'm really happy with how that one looks. Let's come down to color for a second just to play with it a little bit. I don't think there's going to be much we need to do with it. Yeah, obviously we bring up the yellows and the oranges, but that's not going to... Oranges a little bit actually aren't too bad. Reds? Yeah, reds on the outside actually looks good because it's not fringe. It's giving us a little bit of a fringe, but not in a bad way. Purples, nah, not really in play. Nothing else really is greens at all. No, not really. We could push the yellow toward green and do something like that, but no, we're not doing that. We've already had one mint chocolate chip moon. All right. Let's see. What am I playing with aquas? Actually looks pretty cool by bringing the yellow luminance down a bit. We're darkening. We're seeing the detail on the inside of the moon, and we're still keeping that nice bright halo around it, which I really love. I don't expect to love this photo as much as I do. All right, and then we're going to talk a little about compensation in a second. Let's bring that down. Bring that up a little bit. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Reds could brighten them up, could darken them down. Doesn't really seem to make much of a difference. I think if they're down, I see a little more texture, so I'm going to keep that as is. And that's about it. Okay, one other thing to do, now that since we darkened the yellows here, and like that darkened up the moon really nicely, and I really like that, but it also darkened our haze around it, and I didn't like that as much. So we're going to brighten that up. A little bit. Just to compensate for what we did. I can also push the saturation on this one, but that makes it look kind of Eye of Sauron-y, and I don't really want to go that route. We can change the color. Don't really want to do that. Oh, that's wild. There's some color fringing for you. I'm going to leave this as is. I really like this. Cool. All right. 3 stars. Now we're going to come back and work on this one because it's kind of a classic type thing. What did I do here that got me that halo? Because I really would like that halo. You know, hang on a second. What do we do with this mask exactly? What is that? Just the blacks? Bring the blacks down. Okay, cool. So, you know what? I can actually do... I can just do a duplicate of this. Alright, so we're going to duplicate this one. I'm going to come in here. We're going to let it load, and then we're going to work on it. Alright. So first thing, go to our mask here, and we're going to put all of this back. I'm not interested, not really interested in the background on this one. We're going to dehaze it down to basically nothing. We're going to dehaze it actually down to nothing. That's fine. Cool. All right. Good. Come back to our map. Come back to here. Actually, other thing we want to do is we want to go black and white. All right. Let's see. What's my invert option? Can I invert this from here? I know there's a way to do it. But let's work on this from here. So, it's not a Photoshop thing. That's a thing you can do in Lightroom. Give me a second. Enhance? No. Because it's super easy in Photoshop. How do you invert in Lightroom? I love these questions. All right, give us 1 second. I'm going to find out. Okay, we're back. I think I figured out how to do it, so let's go ahead and take a look here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to stop getting rid of my panel, Lightroom. I wish Lightroom would put a lock on these things. That's not this, is it? No, that's filtering. All right, so we're gonna do our tone curve, which I don't usually use, but in this case, bring that all the way. Hang on, I don't want to add one. I want to move this bottom one. There we go. Bring that all the way up. We're gonna grab this one and bring that all the way down, and there's our inversion. That's the beginning of our inverted thing. Let's work on it some more. Let's see what we can do with this. Because right now this is a bit of a mess, and I want to find out why. All right, let's keep working. Let's turn both of these off. See if we can find something in that darkness. Without it. Otherwise, I'll see if I can come up with other ways to do it. All right, back to the main sliders. There we go. So this is the fun thing, is that now, remember, now darkness is light and lightness is dark. So bringing the highlights down is what's going to take to be able to see stuff. And the shadows up will darken. Cool. That's all right, so clarity down. Oh, clarity up still the thing to do, and texture up, same deal. Yeah, this is gonna be a fun one. Something like that. That is looking interesting as hell. Okay, cool. That's a start. Let's play with some masking. That mask is just gonna do that. All right, here we go. Back to mask 1. It is weird that turning the highlights up actually darkens. That is bizarre. That is so freaking wild. I love it. All right, and then we can dehaze more. So I'm kind of really cool about this thing. Zoom in here. This makes it look a little blurrier than the last one now. Maybe just looking at it in this way. All right, back to working on this. Let's see. Come down to our color sliders. By the way, yeah, so looking it up, there is no Lightroom does not have just a straight up invert feature. The way to do it is to go to your tone curve and just literally switch your sides. Just take your corners and move them to the opposite ends. All right. Again, brightening. The wildness of turning something down actually turns it up now. Yeah, we never look at the moon in this way, and that's really cool to be able to see it like this. There we go. I'm just kind of captivated by this. This is super cool. Oh man, just going through the whole, just watch that dehaze slider go, and just watch the changes that makes on the surface of this thing. That is insane. Watch that one more time. That is just so freaking cool. Details come out and then get really, yeah. Oh, I love that. That's awesome. I think that's the way to go with it. And it's also cool which sliders work the same way and which ones don't, because like contrast, texture, clarity, and dehaze all kind of work the same way because they're not specifically targeting dark or light by itself. They are they're designed to, like, they're not targeting darker light. They're just, okay, the dark stuff gets darker, the bright stuff gets brighter, or texture, yeah, we sharpen stuff like that. Because they're just doing it, it's a global adjustment. It's affecting dark and light. It just works normally. Whereas the highlights and shadows that are specifically affecting one thing are inverted. That is cool, and that photo makes me really happy. Look at that. That's cool. All right, awesome. That is phenomenal. I'm just checking to see where we're at on schedules. Sweet, cool. All right. Let's go ahead. Let's take a break from specifically just moon shots. Let's take a look at some of the water, maybe. We had one. Yeah, there's a good one with a wave breaking. That's kind of cool. Did I get a better one of that? I got this. Looking up across the dune grass. That one's not bad. That one's got a cool kind of symmetry between the line and the wave. That one's a good. Let's give that 1 star to come back to. I think I can do something with this one. Just that person's head right there might be a bit of an issue. Let's go ahead and put that in as a potential. But there were a bunch here that I did like this, where I've got the fence a little blurry, maybe a little bit. I think it was a little windy, and the moon, and that could be cool to work on. Again, talking about the difference between the way the change in the sky, just over the course of a couple of minutes. I don't even think how many settings? What settings did I change here? Did I change any between these two? Yeah, slightly faster shutter speed, slightly higher f-stop, but not much. And then you got more here with the moon. They're a little more. Is there anything around there, or is it just the moon? Yeah, just the moon. Okay. And then I did a couple where you can see the moonlight on the water that are cool. I'm not sure I'm feeling them now. Here's another one, moonlight in the water. There's some blue in there. That's fascinating to see what got caught in that shot. Let's come down and let's do. Which one to work on? Anything else from that night that I want to take a look at? No, it's you can go backwards and look at the kind of the pre-moon sets, moonrise stuff, which looks like this. And it's certainly good. I think if I'm gonna work on this one, let's work on this one. This one actually looks really nice. Actually, we already sort of did one of these here. But let's do this one. I'm kind of feeling this one. Let's have a little fun with it. A little bit of clarity. Maybe some highlights, maybe some shadows for sure. Kind of balance it out. I'm going to let this one be kind of a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to let this one sort of be a little bit softer. Because I usually tend to go for the high contrast and the bright colors and stuff. I think I'm going to let this one go a little more gentle with it. Texture. Yeah, I'm going to bring the texture up, I think, across the board. I think is a good idea. Dehaze. Again, dehaze is a big swing. Dehaze brings in the color. I don't want to do that right now. Whites. Let's brighten up those whites a bit. That looks good. Let's do a. Let's see. If I tell it to select the sky, let's see how it does. That's okay. Actually, to do this, I think I want to do this with a linear gradient. I want this to be a very harsh, a very strong line. And I'm going to start like that. We're going to adjust it like this. Coming down. Let's see. Is that the text I've been waiting for? Yeah, that's the wrong thing. Cool. It is. Okay. I'm going to put this one on hold for a second. We've added the linear gradient. All I would do here is pretty much just brighten up the shadows. Actually, I might take the exposure up a stop or two. There we go. That's what I was going for. Kind of try to match some brightness. All right. This one's it's going to get 2 stars because it still needs work. I'm going to throw in the be right back sign, and I'm going to go bring in, let my friend into the building, and we're going to go from there. So Everyone, please hold for a sec. We'll be back in 3 to 5 minutes. And we are back. Okay, hey, so welcome back. We left off on this photo. Honestly, I'm going to leave this photo on 2 stars and come back to it later. I could have holding music, but I feel like if I do it for when I go on a break, I'm going to end up doing it for, like, wanting it in the background of the whole stream, and that, I think my good background sound is just me talking and clicking. So, yeah, alright. So, you can't see her, but Elena Critter is in the room. You can hear her if she wants to say hi.
What's up?
She never disappoints. So, and as promised, her arrival heralds the switch from night to day, or evening to day. So, look at this dog. That's just a great dog. Okay. Yeah, let me see if I can put this up on the big screen. Shelby Lynn says hi.
Hello, Shelby Lynn.
There we go.
Oh, sweet boy.
Yep. It's always fun when I go to the I'm going to the beach and looking to warm up and shoot some stuff, and there's dogs running around. They're a very good warm up.
I love the curves of that dog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that dog is just is a very, like, it's a good silhouette of a dog.
I was going to say, like, if you had a German shadow puppet movie, this would be the perfect cutout of a dog.
Absolutely, yes. I like this one too, where he's playing in the water, and you've got the curve of the water coming off of his paw there.
Oh yeah, with the curve of his tail, it's perfect.
Yeah, he's a very aesthetically pleasing dog, though. I mean, most dogs are. Shelby Lynn would like you to know that she's still gonna call it B-52.
That's fine. Honestly, I have put Eric through the paces so many times changing this goddamn title. But it's just like, it's gonna have, it's like, you know how Russians have like 7 different names depending on the proximity of the person to themselves?
Yep.
So this film has 7 different names depending on the proximity to the film.
Amazing.
Those in the inner circle will refer to it as B-52.
Fair enough. Okay, let's see. What photos do I want to look at? I've been craving. I feel like this is going to be photos that don't end up having a whole lot of editing to them, but I've been wanting to work on the photos that have sort of the water really coming off of them. I forgot we have all these pelican shots. Darn, this was a really good day. Let's see. Yeah, there's that pelican. Wow. Yeah.
Excellent.
And that one's not edited yet.
Damn.
Yeah, that's I'm gonna set that to 1 star, so I know to come back to it. There's a bunch of them that are just really good, but the ones I want to work on are ones we've got that ocean spray. So let's see if I can find a good one for that.
What's your star scale?
So the scale for stars is 1 star is I want to work on it.
Okay.
2 stars is work in progress, not done yet.
Okay.
3 stars is basically done. Give it another pass before you export it. But 3 stars is pretty much good. And then 4 and 5 are kind of saved for, somebody asked for just all of the bird photos, so I can just go through and set all the bird photos to 4. Yeah, it's not so much a rating in terms of quality, it's a rating in terms of step in the process.
In terms of doneness.
Exactly. Gotcha. Yep. All right. Let's go ahead. Let me go back to the develop tab, which keeps disappearing. Let's go here. And this is going to let us look through all of them, and we can pick out the photo to work on and see them bigger. So.
Can you tell Shelby Lynn something?
I can absolutely tell Shelby Lynn something. Shelby Lynn, you're going to be told something.
She's the poet, right?
Yes.
I had a dream about a poem the other night.
Uh-huh.
Where I stared down at a book, and it was a poem I had written, and apparently it had high acclaim, and I woke up and I tried to write down the rest of the poem, but I only remember the very last word of the poem, and the poem was Ukraine.
Interesting.
And so I'm curious if Shelby Lynn has ever dreamed about a poem and then woken up and written it down.
That's an excellent question. Shelby Lynn, have you dreamed about a poem and then woken up and written it down? I feel like I know the answer to this, but want to hear it from you to be sure we're right. That reminds me of weirdly reminds me of Tenacious D's song Tribute.
I don't know that song.
Where it's the song. She says she absolutely had dreamt about poems.
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna work on this one because this one just the water texture here makes me really happy.
Wow.
The song Tribute by Tenacious D is telling the story of them encountering the devil and being told to play the greatest song in the world, and then they played it. But then, of course, they forgot it. So the song that they're playing for you now, telling you about this, doesn't actually sound anything like the song they played.
I like that. Yeah, basically that. Florence and the Machine talks about this a lot, too.
Ooh, yeah.
Her book is called Useless Magic. And I love that term, and I feel like Shelby Lynn might appreciate it, because Florence refers to the book of Useless Magic. It's all lyrics to songs and poems that were too late
Yep.
to be made into songs and poems.
I got you. Yeah.
So she basically comes up with the answer before she has the question.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I really like that.
And so it's just, she's like, she says, I can just create all this useless magic. Like, it's magic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no denying it's magic. It's just useless.
Yeah.
I can't use it right now.
I know exactly how that feels, and I get it. I totally get it. Also, Shelby Lynn said her poem "My Beauty" is one that she thought had been a dream.
Oh, really?
Yep, and she sent me a link we can take a look at.
Say, where can the public read it?
There you go. The link is in the chat.
Yay.
And meanwhile, this photo is kind of done. I'm actually really happy with this. Like I said, a lot of these shots are not gonna have a lot of editing to them, but this one was just refining. I don't want to crop this really because I like that it's already it has all the things I love in a picture of waves, but it feels pared down. It's just the things. Like it's It doesn't have outside context. It's just like it is its own context. You've got a bit of the curve here as the wave breaks. You've got the crash over here. You've got this gorgeous like texture in the wave on the top as it comes over, and then you've got the splash and the spray above it, and then way in the back you can see sort of the curve of the next wave about to happen. And that's just this just feels like such a dynamic and moving photo, in that it is moving, and it's better in color, I think. And I think I might want to push the blues up a little bit, just to sort of match those greens, blues, aquas. That also could end up being. I could also end up taking away from what we've got here, and I think it kind of is. Let's put these back. Because the waves there are yellow. I could bring them down a bit actually and try to balance it out that way. But I don't know. I'm going to stick with this. I'm going to stick with this and say that's 3 stars, and I'm really happy with it. All right, Elena, what do you think? Do you want birds? Do you want waves? Do you want wide shots, close-ups? What are you liking?
I'm a big fan of birds.
Big fan of birds. Okay.
Not recently, I have been getting more and more into the Merlin Bird app.
I downloaded it. I haven't used it yet.
It is the Shazam app for birds.
Yes.
You press record and it will tell you exactly what bird is making that sound. And it is truly fascinating.
That is pretty amazing.
I heard, for the first time the other day, a yellow-breasted chat.
Interesting.
Which I had never heard before on our farm.
Honestly,
I felt like I found a hidden treasure. It was lovely.
Yeah. It's like, it's Pokemon Go in real life.
It is, literally, yeah.
But also, you said yellow-breasted chat, and my first thought was, that's a Twitter competitor, isn't it?
That's funny. Oh, that's really funny. Like Great Value Twitter? Sort of like Great Value Twitter, or more like...
No, just like...
Bespoke?
Good question.
Bespoke Twitter competitor.
I feel like it's the value one.
Great Value.
Yeah.
It's too long to say. You just call it chat.
You would just call it chat, yeah. Let's see. All right, so if we're gonna do a bird, we're gonna do a pelican. Let's see. I actually really like this one. I like this pelican because he's in line with the waves. And if we crop this in and make this photo not that much, that's aggressive. Yeah, let's do this at a 4x5. That seems like a good balance for him. Let's lose the grid. I don't want him on a third. I don't want him centered. I want him wherever I want to put him. I want to find this balance on my own. But I like that. I think that's looking cool. This might be the last photo we do. We're going to wrap up around 2:30, so we'll see how long this takes. Maybe we'll get one more in. Again, these photos are not taking super long to edit, though. That I've said that before, and then I tend to get lost in bird photos, so we'll see. But here's our pelican. Oh, he looks so good. All right, let's quickly go ahead and start with the masking, just to have the mask. We're going to get him. I imagine this will do well. Sorry, Shelby Lynn, your call for waves was outvoted. And then usual, duplicate and invert. Okay, but then take that off for now because I want to do global adjustments. Let's see. Yeah, I feel like clarity is one I can bring up regardless. I want texture in the whole thing. Highlights I might do a little more specifically. Shadows I do want to bring up. I want to add a little more brightness to the whole thing, just a bit. I like that up here. This looks like noise, but it's actually spray. Just like which almost makes it look like it has this almost effect of like water droplets on a pane of glass. Oh, yeah. Like that almost looks like we're looking at the back of this through a spect, like a glass or a water flecked window, and that is neat.
That is very
neat. Neat is the word. Texture I'm going to do separately. Dehaze, what is dehaze going to do? Dehaze is okay. Oh man, I'm seeing so many things I can do with this photo. All right, step one. Let's go. Let's play with our pelican, because this one, the pelican's going to be fairly simple, I think. Clarity is going to stay where it is. Do I want to dehaze him at all? Not really. I almost kind of want to go a little bit the opposite, but I can do that with shadows and highlights. Let's highlights it up. Let's brighten that. Let's bring up the shadows just a bit to really get some nice color in, some brightness in him, which looks great. Let's do my saturation. I'm always fascinated. I'm not gonna saturate them up. I actually like where he is right now, but I'm always fascinated when I bring up the saturation on pelicans. Their feathers turn purple, and I find that so interesting. That there's just purple in that, and that's cranking the setting up beyond what it's supposed to be cranked up to. It's the Cher T-Pain effect of photo saturation, but still. Okay, and of course, because I'm working on something that has a face, I'm gonna do my typical thing of let's play with their eyes. So let's come down here, and we're gonna do our usual new mask radial gradient because that eye is a very nice circle. Go ahead and grab that. To clarify, this is going to be the last photo. I'm going to work on this. I'm going to take the last 5 minutes that I've got here to really make this one pop. So there we go. Bring up our highlights. Bring up our whites. There we go. Brighten up that eye there. I can bring up the exposure a bit, but I don't want to. Yeah, bring up the exposure a little bit. Don't want to overdo it. Saturation. Yeah, bring up the saturation. Actually, hang on, that might actually be distracting. Because in this case, because that eye is not super bright, I'm looking for contrast more than I'm looking for certain colors. So let's bring the clarity down a bit, which will give us a little more brightness there. Bring the texture up a bit to balance out so it doesn't end up looking like we're blinding this bird. Cool. All right, let's see how that looks. If I go back to the wide, yes, you can see the eye a little bit better. Let's see. You almost finishing up over there?
Huh?
Cool. Just checking because I think the water sound comes across on the mic.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I always forget about it too.
I was setting the mood. There's water in the background.
I love
Live effects.
There's your background noise, Shelby. And we're not gonna edit wave photos. You'll just hear the sounds of the water. Okay, so let's see. So now we're gonna do our background, and the one thing I know I want to do is I want to adjust the texture, but not quite as much as I did the bird. Clarity.
Is it okay if you use the restroom?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, probably. That one. Cool. All right. So yeah, dehazens a little bit, pulls out the background a little more, which I think looks really good. Let's see what else I want to do. On the back, there's not a whole lot I want to do yet. I want to do there's something I want to do in a second. Bringing the shadows down a little bit is actually a really good idea. I think because it helps define it. And what we're gonna do now. What's the best way to do this? Okay. New masks. We're gonna do 4 linear gradients. And this is mostly because I think there's opportunities with this photo to do some cool stuff. I'm telling you now, this photo is ending today with 2 stars because I know there's going to be more I want to do. So let's do another create new mask, linear gradient. And here's the fun part. Watch this. We're going to do... Actually, let me do the top and bottom first. Actually, no, I'm going to work my way down. Otherwise, I'm going to lose track of which one's which. So we're going to do this. We're going to come up right to that line there. This one's going to be a little bit of a softer edge, just because this edge is a little more not specific. And now we're going to subtract a different linear gradient so that we can get just the in-between and balance out what we had before. Which I think I'm realizing there's a better way to do this, but we'll go as we can. We'll go as we do, and we'll do this. And then we will subtract the subject, which will clear off the bird and give us just the background. Great. All right, new mask. Let's see. Linear. Same deal. We want the middle section here, the lower middle, because this photo has these 4 nice sections to it that we could actually maybe do something with. So, and then we're going to subtract with another linear one. Do the same thing we just did. Get rid of this. Fun tutorial in creative masking here. Again, that can be a little bit softer because the not that soft. A little bit softer just because the edge is a little bit soft, and then we're going to subtract the subject again, which will clear off the pelican. Beautiful. We got just that section, and then one more linear gradient. And we're going to get rid of the bottom here. Or not get rid of. We're going to select the bottom. So now, as an example, if I wanted to do something cool with this, I could, let's see.
That looks great.
It does. I could push, but here's what I could do. I could push that way. I could push this a little bit like this. Could come up here, push this a little more that. And come down all the way up and push this all the way. And we can end up with some very cool effects on our background as we adjust the as we kind of decide what this picture is going to be. I'll be honest, I was not intending to sort of make the Ukrainian flag there, but
I was going to say.
I really actually love this, and this all right. I will.
Today marks 500 days of fighting.
I think we're past that. I think we're
past that.
Yeah, I think we passed 500 like last week, I think.
Oh, wow.
But still, yeah, no, we shouldn't have gone past 1.
Yeah.
Goes without saying, this channel stands with Ukraine. All right, so wasn't planning. So this photo we're gonna come back to. Like I said, we're gonna give it 2 stars. But this ended up being a really good. My example ended up finding a moment to it. So it's what I'm gonna end on. So this is the photo that I'm gonna post. This is gonna be in the thumbnail, and we'll next time we come back into these photos, we're going to we'll take another look at this shot and explore some of the other things we can do as we've masked it off the way we have. Cool. So, coming back to just me and my completely ridiculously floppy hair. Thank you so much for joining today for this little hour of fun. Tomorrow we got another live stream a little bit later in the day. I think we're starting around 4:30, and that one's going to be film. And for those of you who have been following the process of that movie, we're going to be again working on Last Wave: The Curse of the Nicolas Cage Surfboard, and for those of you who've been following along with me and have been talking and have been listening to me talk about that movie, you know there's a fight scene coming up that I've been kind of saving as a treat for myself. We're finally doing it. So tune in tomorrow to see how you edit a fight scene together when both participants are wielding chainsaws. So that'll be fun. With all that said, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for being part of this and letting me share my artistic process with you. Again, check out Shelby Lynn's poem that she dropped the link for. And if you would like to support me or my channel, you can go to erichackler.com. There's links to my video work if you're looking to hire an editor or a cinematographer or someone to work on a film with you. There's also a photography page because it's if you want to really simplest way to support me is to buy yourself a print, buy a photo, buy a collection of postcards. So if you want to support me, that's the best way to do it. And until next time, stay safe, be well, keep creating, and we'll do this again tomorrow, and then again and again and again. So see you later.